Hey everybody, just checking in with you. Wanted to give you a demonstration on how Theme Creator works. First I want to start off with why I created it, and that's pretty simple. MudBlazor has a pretty cool theme built in, but you don't want the same theme as everybody else, so I attempted to use the theme manager first, and at the time it wasn't being updated. I believe it has since been updated and works great. But it also doesn't have any method to export the theme once you choose it. So, coming from a Telerik background where they have a theme manager, I felt like that MudBlazor needed one. So that is why I created it. And with that, we will get into how to use it. So the best way to understand how to create a theme is to understand how MudBlazor made themes, and I'm not the one that created it, but I believe I've got a pretty decent understanding of it. We'll start with the color enum. You see a lot of components have a color setting, a color parameter where you would put in color.primary, secondary, tertiary, surface, dark, transparent, error, info, success, and warning. And you'll see over here you have all of those things listed. So those are the basis of colors. Now behind the scenes, and you can see when I highlight one, it lists the CSS class, and you can also get these classes from the MudBlazor site. Behind the scenes, these classes are used to style different components. I've attempted to make it pretty easy to get to the different color enum stuff, so you can actually click on primary and it'll bring up all the relevant primary options. Secondary does the same, tertiary, surface, which is just the one, as well as error, info, success, warning, and I think transparent doesn't bring up anything. So those are most of the default and most popular options that you're going to be setting. One thing to remember too is if you're going to attempt to look up these styles and trying to find how to style something a particular way, and you have the color, like you know what the color is, you could go over here to the CSS variable lookup and just start punching it in. So we're just going to go mud palette primary, and then it'll bring up all these. It'll show you what the current color is, the RGB value, and the CSS variable. Now there are two options over here that are extremely important. They're going to be more important than you probably think they are. One is text primary. So with text primary, you have the color of all of your body text. All of your normal text is going to be text primary. Not primary contrast text, but text primary. And along with text primaries, you have text secondary that I believe is used some in regular tables, but otherwise is not used in the library. So text primary, text secondary, and then lastly you have surface. Now surface is the background color of mud papers, mud cards, expansion panels, dialogues, tables, data grid. They all use the style for surface. So very important to understand that text primary is going to be your primary text. All of the text that's unstyled, uncolored, no color enum is going to be text primary. And all of the backgrounds that are not just your regular background, so they are a component in MudBlazor, generally have the surface for the background color. Now I like to go and start from scratch. I'm going to hit this refresh reset button right up here, and it's just warning me that I'm going to delete anything that I might have customized. So we're going to start from scratch, and then we're going to go over to one of the boot swatch themes, because most of them don't have a tertiary color, and it's really easy for you to see. The secondary is the same as the tertiary, and then we can switch from light mode to dark mode. And of course the cyborg theme is actually darker in light mode, in my opinion, but this is what it is. So I can switch back and forth, and you'll also notice the palette light changes to palette dark. If you're making changes in light mode, don't forget to go over and make your changes in dark mode. So if I were to want to adjust the tertiary color so I could use that in this theme, then I would start here setting my tertiary and tertiary contrast. So we're going to set the tertiary, and we'll say, I like green. Green looks good. Let's go with green. Let's do just a little bit brighter green. I think that's pretty good right there. So we're going to save this. And then we're going to set the contrast text to match. We're going to want a darker color. We can just go all the way over here. And you can even go down here to set them. Alright, so now we've got our tertiary base and the contrast, and you'll notice the hover looks off. So when you're doing hover, it uses the text tertiary darken and tertiary lighten in different values based on whether you're light mode or dark mode. So what I generally like to do is go to the darken. I'll click these buttons that let you copy straight from your primary, secondary, or your tertiary. And we're going to get my tertiary color right there. And to darken it, I generally just go a little bit diagonal like that. And then I can save it. And I can already see that the hover is much cleaner. And then I want to do the same thing for lighten, just the opposite direction. We'll click on tertiary, and I can't really go up more into there. So we're going to go right about there. And we can see that the dark theme, the color is off on the contrast text. So we're going to hit dark. And unfortunately it brings up a bunch, but dark, contrast text. Let me see. I can have it in view. And we'll click on dark, and I think we're going to want a darker text again. That should work there. We probably do want some sort of value. So while the background there of dark is pitch dark, we're going to try and get it more of a gray color. I'm trying to get it where it shows on the screen at the same time so I can kind of see it as it adjusts. So I think that's pretty good. I don't want to get it too light because it is still dark, but I want it to be visible. So we'll save that. And then we want to look at the dark lighten and dark darken. So here we're going to go to dark, and I'm going to copy the color to the clipboard. Now I've got access to it, color copied. And then I'm going to go to dark darken, and I'm going to paste the color. So I start right where I'm at, and then I want to darken it. So we just go diagonal just like we normally do. And then we'll do the same thing to lighten. We'll paste that color since it's still copied, and we're going to go up a little bit and save it. Now one more thing while I'm here is you notice on these palette things, my save and my cancel button, you can't see them. So something's off with the color, and I did go and look, and it is the action default used on the mud icon button when you don't use any color. So if I set that action default, you'll see the color start to return right there. And we just want to see what they are. So I kind of want to copy it from this color. So I'm going to go ahead and inspect it. And that is going to be color inherit. MudBlazor text primary. So we can go over to MudBlazor text primary, which is text primary, and we're going to copy that color. And we can drop out here. We can go back to action, default, and paste that color, and now they have all matching, even though we have different styles set on these. So the difference between these two is these two buttons had color.default set on them, whereas these had no color set on them at all, so they use the action default. There's three more things I want to show you, and then we'll move on to the next section. Are very focal points of most applications. We have the app bar, which is right up here. We have the app bar background, which is this color here, and then we have the app bar text, which is the color inside, as well as the icons and other things, unless you style them individually. So you can go in and change those just like anything else, and you'll see, and oops, I don't want to change that, so we're going to revert it back to its original color. And then we can also do the same thing for the drawer. So here we have the drawer background, drawer text, and drawer icon. So the drawer background is here. You can see it's just slightly different than your regular background. And then your text is there, and it is not quite as bright as your text primary. I'm pretty happy with those, so we're going to leave those, and that it was imported from the style correctly. So this is the Boots Watch Cyborg theme. So I'm going to go and check our dark mode on those same things. I'll probably copy my tertiary over and take a look at a few of the other options, make sure dark is highlighted right and all that good stuff. And I'll be right back. You know, I was going to do that off screen, but as I thought about it, I think I want to show how to make dark mode changes. So we're going to go to light mode, we're going to go to tertiary, and we're going to copy this color because I want the same color on dark mode. I don't want any changes in this one. So we're going to copy this color straight there, straight to, and then we can paste color and save. And then I can flop back and forth and just do the same thing with all of them. We'll just do the same thing here, just so that they match and they are completely the same on both. And we're going to do the same thing with these two because we want to be thorough. I actually got ahead of myself, so dark mode here, copy, and then dark mode, and then darken, and paste, and save, and then light mode. We'll take the lighten, copy, cancel, dark mode, lighten, paste, save. Now the hover and the color should be exactly the same between light and dark. I am okay with the dark changing. The disabled looks okay. That is an actual thing you want to look at is disabled, and even though these buttons are disabled, there's a click event outside of them to take you quickly to action disabled and action disabled background, and they are exactly what they say they are. And the last thing I have here is one of my personal favorites, and that's the data grid. So the data grid by default is styled with surface, just like everything else in the grid is. I like my data grid to be a little different, so I set it to match the drawer. So whatever the drawer is what I want my headers of my data grid. So you can see the help here just to kind of tell you what the styles are, and you can click it or whatever to swap it back and forth to kind of see the differences, but you can see what my styles are for the data grid headers because I like them to be a little different. And that's kind of the point of theming, is to do it how you like to do it. Now let's talk about exporting a theme. So we've gone through here and we've made a bunch of changes. We can see that it's been modified, and we want to put those changes in our application. So the first thing we need to do is go over to the export theme right here, and we're going to click that, and that's going to pull up theme class for MudBlazor if you're using version 7, and theme class for MudBlazor if you're using version 8. Now I do believe 6 and 7 are the same, so if you are still on 6, it will work for 6. I also have all of the CSS classes listed just in case you wanted them. There's really no valid reason that I can think of in my head, but you know, people come up with some crazy stuff and some good ideas, so I wanted to give you the option to have the CSS as well. So you have a dark mode CSS, light mode CSS, and then your static CSS stuff. And you'll notice I didn't go over the layout properties, which are all the different small double things, so default border radius, and the other things. They're pretty easy to go through. I don't think they're near as complicated. The z-index, as well as the typography, and you'll also notice I don't have any fonts listed in typography. That is on purpose. You can make those modifications after the fact, because you'll also need to change your static assets to pick up whatever different fonts you put. That being aside, we're here to talk about the theme export. So we're going to do a theme export, and we're going to incorporate it into our application. So we're going to go to theme class MudBlazor. This particular application I'm going to use it on is in version 7. So we're going to go with version 7. We'll expand it here. And it's got some instructions. If you've never done it before, you can read the instructions and hopefully with the video put it together and have this taken care of in no time fast. You'll see public static read-only mud theme, and it's got a name of the theme and the entire class to set it up. Most of these values are going to be in hex. There might be a still few in RGB, but generally hex is what I output my stuff in. So we're going to copy that. So I've got a application that I use occasionally called Nested with MudBlazor. It was something I made to help someone out, just kind of a copy from my template that I use. It's still in version 7. I don't use it very often, but we've got that copied theme, and we're going to pop it over here, and you can get rid of that, you can keep it. I'm going to keep it because that's a theme I generally prefer to use, and then I'm just going to right click and paste, and it should be as simple as that. That theme should work, and if you have any problems, your IntelliSense should pop up, or you should have errors pop up. We'll go over to Mud Layout, and we're going to change it from Silver Theme to Cyborg Theme. And then we're going to go ahead and play it. And I haven't run this application in at least 2 or 3 months, so we'll see what it looks like when it comes up. Should not take too long. I may have to drag the original over here whenever it does come up. There we go. And so here now we have the Cyborg theme. And we can switch between them up here just like normal. I think I was doing a tree view here, so we've kind of got a tree view with some other stuff. I don't know what I was doing. It's been a long time. So we've got kind of a list of a nested navigation manager I wrote. That's in here. That's actually what we did. I'd forgotten. It's been that long. So these are nested, hierarchical, and they can go forever. So 1 level, 2 level, 3 level, 4 level, 5 level, you know, until you run out of memory. So it's a pretty neat application, but that's how you integrate it in, and was pretty simple, hopefully painless. And so now we can talk about some of the other fun things. Now we've made some changes to our theme here that I think are good for the theme. So I'm going to go ahead and save them, and you can save your themes just like this. So right here, this third tab is Save or Upload Theme. We're going to click on that, and you'll notice that it brings up Save Theme by default. There's a theme ID, the theme name, and the theme description. It's already all filled out. If you were doing this on a theme that was already built, it would not let you save to that original theme. When you choose to click Update Existing Theme, instead it would create a new theme for you. So feel free to rename it to whatever you want to rename it to. Put the description to whatever you want the description to be. I do like giving credit to those who did the work on this theme originally, even though it's not a one-to-one copy. It is his work that we used, hopefully for other people's benefit, and that's kind of the nature of open source to me. So we're going to click Update Existing Theme, and it will save it. You'll notice the modified goes off here. If it was saved to your personal account, it would be saved with a star, and you'll also note that this entire page requires you to be logged in up here. I don't store any of the login information. I use auth0, So they have all of the login information, and all I get in the application is your user ID, which I use to keep track of themes. Now, we can look over here, and I have all of the themes listed, of course, because I created them. And if there's a particular theme that I don't want, I can just deactivate. Now, any of your themes would be listed here as well. And there's some information. You can save up to 5 themes to your account or more if I make a donation, but you don't have to. Just 5 themes to your account. That way you have access to those themes whenever you make a new application. You can just go log in. That theme would be listed with a star at the left to indicate it's a personal theme. That would be listed for you, and you could use it. One that I use constantly that I made public is called the silver theme. It is my favorite theme, personally. But, you know, everybody's got their own, so this is what I use for most of my applications. Not all of them, most of them. And I've been pretty happy with it. The way it looks, it's very similar to another theme that I was working with, so I have enjoyed using it. Now, to follow up with that, is you can upload your existing themes directly as they are. We're going to go back over to Save or Upload Theme, and instead of leaving it on Save Theme, we're going to click over here on Theme Input. So we can either upload a theme file, or we can just paste the CSS or CS into this text box right here. Now, once we do one of those, we'll just click Upload Pasted Content. Give me a second, and I'll get a file to upload just so you can kind of see. And this works the same whether it's a CSS Boots Watch file or a CS C# file. So we have all of the themes here. I can't remember which ones I didn't add, but I didn't add all of them just simply because it was super close to another theme or had too many errors and didn't want to spend the time to fix it. Most of the ones I didn't add were just super close to another theme, and that's why. Let me see. One that I like that I think I added, I'm not sure, is Quartz. So we're just going to hit OK to upload, and it will upload and do all the work. You see it has changed all of the colors to match that, and then immediately moves to the save theme, where I can save the theme by name. So first thing I want to do is click back over here in Home and see if I've saved the theme. And it is in alphabetical order, and I have the theme, so I don't need to go in and make all these modifications to try and bring the theme up to speed. So what I did is went and looked at the original theme, took the import, and then made some updates to try and get it closer. Another thing you can remember is that all of the controls, or most of the controls we have in MudBlazor, are listed over here. Each one of these is a card. This top one is a paper. And they just kind of let you see what the different controls look like with your color scheme, so you can get an idea of what you're doing. And I do want to go ahead and show you quickly is how to upload a theme. So we're just going to reset, and that should take us back to MudBlazor default, and we're going to go over here to Save or Upload. We're going to go to Theme Input, and this time I'm going to paste it, and this is just the C# representation of my silver theme in that old application. It's not the same as the silver theme we have here. I have since made it better, but this was my original version of the theme. You can see I don't have all of my colors right, that I didn't run across that in my applications. So you see the colors are off enough that I'm going to switch off of it. Well, once I upload that theme, I can go in and save it, and it will show up in my account. And that's mostly it. You can go over to your profile and see all the themes that you have and deactivate any ones that you don't want active. And I do intend on adding a reactivate button in here, but I haven't added it yet. So just FYI, if you have a problem with anything, if you need anything, if you have a theme that you want the public to use, make an issue on GitHub, and I will usually get to it within a couple days. And if you find any bugs, by all means, let me know. Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great week.